boys. They're here. Wheel adapters. This is what's gonna make the Corvette magic happen. Anytime I get one of these priority mailboxes and it's super, super heavy, I know exactly what's inside it. We got our wheel adapters. So these are the 3-inch adapters that are gonna make running that off-road wheel possible. They adapt from the 5x120 lug pattern that is the Corvette, I believe, to a 5x127, which is our Mamba off-road wheel. So the rules with this stuff is you're always supposed to test fit your wheel before you get your tires put on. So now that we got our spacers and our adapters, let's test fit these to our wheels. Well, this is a mighty weird way of test fitting, but I don't have any tools at home. I can't get those lug nuts off. But when we put these on here, lines up perfectly, we got ourselves a wheel with absolutely zero back spacing, which is exactly what we wanted to push this wheel out as far as we could. Looking good. So now we got to go get tires put on these wheels. Street tires, I can get wheels and tires for them in this car, no problem. Off-road, I think it's gonna take 2 trips. Trip number 1 is a success. Just dropped off all the wheels. Looks like they're not busy at all, so that's gonna be really good. We'll get this stuff done quickly. That doesn't really fit, but it's good enough for now. All right, we're all dropped off here at the tire shop. They're gonna get the tires put on the wheels for me. While that's going on, Eric and I ran out of gas for the MIG welder, so I'm gonna run down to the gas shop and refill the gas tank. Lots of errands today. I'm getting a little concerned about the amount of work time we'll have, but we'll get some good stuff done. Just made it to the gas shop. So this is our little gas tank for the MIG welder, and I'm gonna try and get one that's a little bit bigger, but maybe not too much bigger, because the one we have for the TIG welder is like huge, and that's pretty burdensome to walk around with. We're gonna be doing a lot of welding outside and walking around with this thing, so I'm gonna try and see if they have one that's like in the middle size and just upgrade a little bit. Perfect. We did just a small upgrade, but it's actually a really large upgrade. So we went from a 40 to a 60 cubic feet, which means that we essentially doubled, well no, we added 50% of our capacity, and it's nice and we can still like lug it around. It's not too hard to move around. Perfect. Let's head back to the wheel shop, get our wheels and tires. So much tire. I really hope this works out. Part of me wants to see Eric notching the frame on the Corvette later today, but part of me just wants to see this work out cleanly. I can't wait to get these back to the shop. Let's head out. This is looking insane. Man, I really hope we can make these fit. If we can, this thing is gonna look so awesome. This is gonna be like a Hot Wheels car. Eric is here. Cooper's here somewhere behind me, and I'm about to hand over the reins to Eric, but before I do that, I just want to give a huge shout out to MambaWheels.com. They hooked us up with these wheels for this build. Now they are either owned by Koenig or in partnership with Koenig. I'm not exactly sure the affiliation there, but you guys know we use Koenig wheels here at the shop all the time, and this being their partner company, they were willing to help us out on this build, and it's such a huge help. These wheels look so awesome. They're gonna help set off the build, and they're exactly what we needed. We needed something with a negative offset to help push the wheel out and everything like that, and they went above and beyond, hooked us up a short-term notice and got these out here. So huge thanks to them. And guys, I'll put a link in the description if you need some truck SUV style wheels for your rig. Head on over there, link is in the description, and you'll find what you're looking for. Okay, Eric, I'm gonna hand it over to you, and you can figure out how to get those to fit on the car. Awesome. See ya.
All right, we got that front spacer on, and this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. Even from a diesel world, you only usually see about 2-inch spacers on trucks, so seeing a 3-inch on a car is pretty crazy. If you noticed, I used this, I just used a pipe and wedged it in between these studs while I was torquing them down. That way I didn't have to have the car on the ground, or didn't have to use an impact. So that's how I did that. One thing that I'm almost a little concerned about are these ball joints running such a wide spacer. That's gonna be putting a lot of pressure on that outside diameter of the wheel. So that's something I might be concerned about, but we will see. So far, it's looking pretty good. You can see how this outside mounting surface compares to the body of the car. So we're looking pretty good. These are already way outside the body, but we're gonna get the wheel on here and see what that looks like. So I got the spacer on the rear, and we went to mount the rear tire and the rocker panel right here was definitely in the way. So that met Mr. Sawzall and came right off. So now we're gonna get to mounting our tire and seeing how it looks. The wheels are on, and holy cow, these things look freaking awesome. You have no idea how excited I am right now. These things stick out so far. We're definitely gonna have to do something about mud flaps, maybe fenders. Actually in Oregon, you kind of have to have at least mud flaps that come out to the outside of the tire, or else you are definitely most likely going to get a ticket. So I might have to have something in the rear, but holy cow, these are freaking awesome. The fronts look like they have plenty of room for turning. It looks like they'll clear in here just fine. We'll play with that once we get the other side on, and we'll jack the front of the car up and test our locks left to right. And then, but for now, we want to go ahead and get the passenger side jacked up and get those wheels swapped over. Alright, now we have all 4 wheels and tires mounted. We have all 4 spacers on. Everything is all torqued down. We can just give you guys a closer look on what our offset's looking like. You can see our brake rotor is almost flush with the outside of the rim. Of course, our tire is going to poke out a little bit more. But holy cow, that is ridiculous. So I am praying that our ball joints hold together. This thing is freaking awesome. So we trimmed our other rocker panel. I tried to match it as close as I could to the other. Oh, I still have to cut that off. I cut that off on the other side, so I'll get that real quick. Actually, something that was kind of weird is on the back wheels, on the factory wheels, we're missing a lug nut on both sides. So now the only extra lug nuts that we had were locking lug nuts. So if somebody really wants these wheels, they have to go through 2 locking lug nuts and 3 standard ones. So that might be a pain in the ass if we do have to end up changing the tire, but it is what it is. One thing that I am a little concerned about is this clearance right here. We should be fine, just because I don't think we have that much travel on our suspension. Even if we did, it's not that big of a deal if that rubs. I might cut that out anyways, just with Sawzall or a grinder or something, just to kind of free up that area. And then same on the other side. It doesn't really have that little indent, but our fuel cap or fuel fill is kind of up here too. That should be fine. And of course I can just trim that, just cut that back if I really wanted to. So I am super happy with how this is turning out. Super stoked. We have really wide stance on this thing. Again, our fronts are pretty much the same offset. Actually our brake rotor is further out this way than the inside of the rim. So yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
I'm jumping in here just to say this looks so awesome. This is so good. This is beyond our like best expectations, right, Eric? Like,
I am so happy with how this is turning out. Like, this is my favorite build ever.
Immediately becomes the favorite build ever, and just like that, this is beyond any expectations I think we had. How's the turning? You probably just got done talking about the turning radius and stuff, huh?
I'm just about to jack it up. That way we can test our full lock left and right.
It looks like it's going to be plenty of turning radius. We're actually going to be able to steer. Boys, we built a legit off-road Vette Kart. We didn't really do much. We just pulled a Corvette apart, ordered spacers, and put wheels and tires on it. But damn, it looks so good. I'm so happy about this.
I can't wait to get that roll cage in. Get our other accessories mounted on the front. We're gonna be doing that skid plate up there in that front bumper.
The exhaust. We got a good plan for the exhaust, which you're gonna work on tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get that done today.
All right, let's get back to work. I'm just so happy about this.
We barely made it with our clearance, our turning radius clearance on this tire and the frame rail. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. When I jacked the car up, I originally jacked it up in the front and I was testing the turning radius, but when you do it that way, you don't have the weight of the vehicle down, so that changes where the wheel is in perspective with the frame. So I jacked it back down, or lowered it back down, and you can see I'm cranking on the wheel as hard as I get, and we have just about an inch, and that looks like it's at the furthest part of the tire, or the outside radius. So we should be good in all of our suspension travel in terms of clearance, which is pretty cool. We do get pretty close to these little guys, but these are just like little drains for the tray when the rainwater comes off of the windshield here. And those are all little like flexible. They look a little funny. Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't say anything about those. Chris is gonna need one of these later. All right, now that we know that our front wheels and tires clear our frame rails when we turn, and all 4 of our wheels and tires are mounted and torqued down, we need to get going on this exhaust. This exhaust is totally factory right now. It's got the mufflers. This muffler is pretty bashed up from when the wreck happened, and this is definitely not gambler style. So one, it still has mufflers. Those definitely have to go. This ain't gonna be loud enough how it is. So what I'm thinking is that on either side there's a flange, a bolt together flange, one there and one here. This one's already cracked over here. It looks like somebody had tried to repair it at one point, so that already has to be repaired. So I'm going to unbolt each side, left and right, and take those off. And what I'm thinking is that it kind of does a dive up from that flange straight up here. And what I'm thinking is I want to take that, cut it right about there, extend that straight up, and either go out with the bend or straight up, and possibly kind of have a 45-degree bend back. And I really want to put a couple of those little tractor flappers on top. We'll see if we can get some of those in time. It just goes to show, if you're gonna do it right. So at some point this weld had cracked on this exhaust, and whoever had fixed it, some weld shop, some exhaust shop, they didn't feel like taking the exhaust pipe off, so they welded it in the car, and there's not enough room to even get a wrench on that bolt because that weld is so big. So now I have to try to, I think I'm gonna run the Sawzall blade right along that weld there, and at least that'll get the pipe out of the way, because I'm gonna have to clean that off anyways to weld that back to the flange. So cut that there, and hopefully that'll give me enough room to get that bolt out. So you can see why this was giving us such a hard time. Somebody had tried to weld this, and the bolt that went through right here, the head was right up against this weld, so I couldn't even get a wrench on it, couldn't turn it if I wanted to, so ended up cutting it off, obviously. So if you do go to weld something, get your settings right at least, because this looks like some of Cooper's poop. This is the rest of the exhaust that we ended up taking off. So over here, where I was saying before, we've got the flange. So we're gonna end up cutting right about here at the very last straight section, and then extending our pipe straight up and either to the outside of the car or rear facing. I haven't quite decided yet. And then this is the side that we had to cut the flange off, so I'm gonna grind that straight, or straight enough to weld at least back to that flange, and then again cut that straight there and extend it straight up. So now that this is tacked up, that's ready to weld, I can bolt both of these, the passenger side and the driver's side, back up, and then we can start playing with the other pipe. it is super dark outside, and this has been a pain in the butt to work on when you can't really see anything, especially when you're trying to weld a bunch of seams together and you can't tell where your start and stops are, but it's done. So if you look down here, our flange is all welded back together, and then we have a seam right there and a seam right there, and that's our elbow. So we do have some of those tractor flappers coming in the mail. I'm gonna get those ordered tonight. That way we're gonna have those flappers on the rear, and that should kind of prevent some moisture and stuff from going down there if it does decide to rain on us. One thing that I did notice while we were down here is that we have to figure out what's going on with these two plugs. I don't know if that's a trans reverse switch or what those are, but that white plug there has the two wires cut to it, and that black plug that's zip tied right there to that transmission mount or tab, whatever you want to call it, the inside is melted pretty good. So we have to figure out what we need to do with those. Over here, kind of same deal. We've got a seam down there, seam right there to match the other side, and we've got them pitched out and back. So we can kind of tell the angle kind of walking around here. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It'll be interesting when we start working on a roll cage tomorrow in the next few days, how our crossbars and our support bars play out. Kind of have to build it around our exhaust at this point, but we wanted to get this done, and hopefully we get that key tomorrow too. I really want to hear what it sounds like. So I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm super excited to get working on it tomorrow.
All right, guys, that is a wrap on today. Thanks, Eric, for all the hard work. Exhaust came out great. Wheels, tires look way cooler than we could have ever expected, so we're both really happy about it. I think we're gonna have one of the coolest looking cars on the Gambler.
Hopefully.
Eric let me know that there's a prize for whatever car looks most like a remote control car, which I think we're probably gonna win that prize. Fingers crossed. So tomorrow, Eric's picking up roll cage material. He'll probably start breaking ground on that, so tune in for that tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. If you like BS for Build, you want to help out and support, head over to bsforbuild.com. Scroll down to the shop, picking up anything there. All goes to support the channel. And if you want to find us in more places, follow us, BS for Build on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, Snapchat, all that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow. Peace!